Okay, now I need to fix the holes in the floor here. So I'm, working on the truck. And where are the holes? So how many of them are there? Looks like we have some here, small ones. Then we have a big one here, a bigger one in this spot, and a bunch of little tiny ones there. So the bigger ones are kind of too big for, just covering up with POR 15, and but they're not big enough yet to warrant using a license plate or something like that to cover them up. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to try to use epoxy to fill the holes, the larger ones, and then I'll cover the smaller ones with POR 15. Alright, so I picked up the POR 15 Easy kit, or small kit, because I used it once back, probably 20 plus years ago on a car I had, and it seemed to work pretty good. So I'm going to try it again with the D100 and use this stuff to try to do it the way they say to do it. I think the first step was to do some sanding, kind of knock loose everything that's loose on there, or knock off everything that's loose rust. Then they want me to clean it and then etch it with this metal prep and then brush on stuff with the POR 15. So let's see how that works. Looking at the driver's side, it looks like there's just like 3 or 4 little holes. Maybe one there, one there, one there, and then one someplace else. That looks like it needs to be covered. So I'll probably cover this side with POR 15 and call it a day. Okay, step one, they said to degrease and then sand the area that you need to apply the epoxy to. So I used the grinder, sanded it down, used the degreaser, degreased it. Now they say to cut off a piece big enough to fill the hole, and then knead it in my fingers and then firmly apply it to the surface. So let's see how that works. Alright, that was fairly easy. I just filled the holes with the steel epoxy, touched up those pinholes over there too, and now I'm going to let this sit overnight to dry, and we'll see what it's like tomorrow. See you later. sanded.
To let you know that you can earn up to $1,900 in Lennox rebates now. Plus, financing options
Now I probably should vacuum it out.
as low as 0% OAC. Terms apply. Call Total Comfort Solutions today to schedule your free consultation for the installation of a new heating.
Okay, sanded. Now I gotta degrease it. Let's see how that works. Well, maybe I should sand the other side first, huh?
Years ago, when I signed with MCA Records, that seemed to me like every 4 or 5 years they would sign 3 or 4 people, 5 people, and you did.
Okay. I noticed something on the other side. That epoxy really sands down nice. So maybe I'm going to take that grinder and sand it a little better. We'll see how that works. Yeah, that epoxy stuff really filled in those holes pretty good and solid. So, looking good. Alright, we'll see what the next step is. I think that's to clean it. So, we'll go on and do that. Okay, the next step is this cleaner degreaser thing. And it's supposed to be mixed 4:1. So 4 parts hot water to 1 part of this. This is 8 fluid ounces. That thing there is 58 fluid ounces. So I'm going to go fill it probably half full because I don't have that much space to cover. And so 58 divided by 2 is 20, let's see, 58, 24, no, 29. 29 divided by 4 is, well, 28 divided by 4 is probably easier, so that's what, 6? 7? 7. So, this is 8 fluid ounces. It should take care of half of that. No, that can't be right. Well, anywho, they can say it can do up to 1 to 10. So, I don't think I'm going to mix it that heavy because I don't have a lot of greasy stuff in there. It's mostly just rust. It's all been covered by plastic forever. So I'm probably going to use half of this thing with hot water and half of that thing. And it'll be pretty close. Close enough for me. Good enough for me anyway. Alright. Well, check this out. They say push down and turn, but it doesn't catch on anything. What the hell? They put this in backwards. All I can do is tighten it. I can't loosen it. Ah! Okay. Let's look at that again. It says push down and turn to open. That ain't how it worked. I had to squeeze and turn and pull to open. I don't know. Somebody needs to reread their instructions, I guess, or rewrite their instructions, because that ain't how this lid works. Okay, so I said I'm going to pour about half of this in here. Okay, that's probably enough. Now, put the lid back on. Hopefully I can tighten it down, because I don't know if I screwed it up by squeezing. Well, gonna work on that here in a bit. Okay, now to mix. Put the lid on. Woo! That lid doesn't seal tight. Essentially soap. Alright, let's go clean up the truck now. Alright, got me a little scrub brush. Let's see how much it takes to clean this up. I think the bigger thing is I'm getting the dust off. Okay, now time for the other side. Guess it's time for my neighbor to warm up his motorcycle. Must be going to work. Dawn would work for this too. Probably, it's pretty good degreaser. Now the next step, they say, is to rinse this with some clean water. So let me go get some of that. Of course, I didn't leave any holes, so now I don't have any way to drain this out, so Maybe I'll need to use my vacuum or something. Or a towel. Guess I'll just use this microfiber towel and just kind of soak it up and wring it out. Looks like I might need to vacuum that a little more. Alright, let me go get some more water and we'll do some more rinsing. Alright. Okay. Alright, now I suppose I need to let that side dry off and go do the other side. Alright, time to rinse. Now just a note, I let that epoxy dry for close to a week before I'm in here with water and rinsing, so if you're doing this, you might want to do the same. And it dried pretty hard, so looking pretty good. There's the neighbor's dogs. And some other neighbors' dogs. Alright. I think now I just need to let this dry probably before I do the metal etch, which is the next step. Let's go find out how to do that. Or do you think I should rinse this a second time? Maybe I should. That'll just make sure it's extra rinsed. And if you noticed before, I did wash this out pretty heavily with the pressure washer too. So this is being extra clean, I guess. I don't see any leaks underneath the truck, so I think I got all the holes with the epoxy. If you go back to the last video, you'll see that stuff. Or maybe that's this earlier in this video. I don't know. I don't remember. Okay, there we go. It's most of the water sopped up. Let's go see what the next step is. They don't really say how to apply this stuff, so I'm just going to use a piece of microfiber cloth. And they only give you one pair of black gloves, so I grabbed a new pair out of my stash, because I don't know if this stuff and what it does. And again, this lid doesn't push and twist, so we're going to try to pull and squeeze and see if we can get it open. Ah, there it comes. All right. And they say you got to keep it wet. For up to 30 minutes. I don't know how that's going to happen. got to put it on a little bit thicker, huh? And it's got to soak in, they say. So let's hope it soaks into that rust. I think it might have soaked into the rag more than it soaked into the rust, huh? Alright, time to try it on the other side too. Pardon-moi. Okay, put it down. I suppose now I go back to the other side and see how it does. the lid back on. And let this zinc oxide stuff take effect, huh? Convert that rust to something other than rust. And maybe go back to the other side. Okay, how long have you been working on this? This looks like we've been at it for 8 minutes, 9 minutes. Now I think we're gonna let it roll for another 12 and then we'll rinse. How's that sound? Okay, I gotta keep that wet, so I need to put some more down apparently. Okay, we'll let that go for about 5 more minutes and then we'll rinse. Or until it starts to dry again or whatever, and then we'll hurry up and rinse it off. Actually, it's been on for almost 15 minutes. But since I just put that extra coat on, let's let it go for a little bit longer. It says up to 30 minutes, so we'll see. I'll get prepped for rinsing. Okay, I'm prepped. What the heck, huh? Okay, there's one rinsing. There's two rinsings. Alright, now we just need to let that dry on this side and we'll be rinsing the other side. Alright, there's the first rinse. There's a second axe. Okay, now that I have that mostly rinsed off and dried, I just gotta let it air dry for maybe a couple more hours or so, and then we can apply the 415. So there you have it, guys. Now it's metal etched. We'll see what we do next. Well, decided to go to the Dayton Car Show today. It's about 6 or 8 blocks long, I guess. It's quite a ways out there. But a lot of cool stuff to see here if you come out here in a year. Well, talk to you guys later.